Hey! Hey! The sheriff's office! Wake up!
Go get the kids. I got this. I'll do it if you go.
Here, I'll go with him. Tell me where your kids are.
Arizona woman, Misty Wilke, and her boyfriend, whose identity wasn't released, got into an argument in a Phoenix park on April the 29th of 2016 after the latter revealed that he was HIV positive. As later reported by 44-year-old Wilke, the man started laughing at her over the incident and she reacted by pushing him. The boyfriend then allegedly swung a pocket knife at her, cutting her on the arm. In the moments that followed, she got into her red Ford Mustang, as seen in CCTV footage. Wilke lined the vehicle up with her boyfriend, who was on his bike. She floored the acceleration, slammed into him head-on and kept driving. The man flew off his bike, went over the roof and flipped multiple times before landing headfirst into the pavement. Other bike riders assisted the victim and he staggered to his feet while holding his back, seemingly confused and unaware that the danger had passed. The man tried to run away but was unable to maintain his balance. He stumbled toward a nearby fence and fell over it. Video of the incident was captured by a Blue Horse Solutions LLC home surveillance camera. With the homeowner's permission, the company's owner uploaded the clip to YouTube, where it went viral. In the incident's immediate aftermath, Wilke called the police from her home and claimed that she didn't mean to hit her boyfriend, adding that she was angry and didn't realize she'd hit someone until the man bounced off her car. The victim was left with a broken back vertebrae and injuries to his scalp, which required staples. On May the 10th of 2016, a grand jury indicted Wilke for attempted second-degree murder, aggravated assault, and leaving the scene of a serious injury accident. She pleaded guilty to the latter two charges and was jailed for 6.5 years. Number 10. Misty Wilke. In August of 2013, NBA player Ty Lawson and his pregnant girlfriend, Ashley Pettiford, were involved in a row at the former's home in Arapahoe County, Colorado. 25-year-old Lawson was at the time a star point guard for the Denver Nuggets, and the argument reportedly started in the early morning hours after Pettiford heard him talking to another woman on the phone. Amidst a shouting match, Pettiford began packing her things to leave. She tried getting to the closet, but Lawson reportedly grabbed both of her arms above the elbow and pushed her back to the bed, telling her, "I'll get the clothes." 24-year-old Pettiford then grabbed the man's phone and shattered it by throwing it against the wall. Lawson retaliated by doing the same to his girlfriend's phone, and when that didn't work, he reportedly ran the device under a faucet. Pettiford's mother called law enforcement, and the couple were both arrested. Each admitted to their role in the altercation. Pettiford was charged with criminal mischief. Lawson was charged with physical harassment and criminal mischief, in addition to being subject to a mandatory protection order prohibiting him from contacting his girlfriend. Both were subsequently released on a $1,000 bond. Number 9. Timothy Stevens and Alyssia Langley. Georgia couple Timothy Stevens and Alyssia Langley, both aged 27, were visiting Daytona Beach, Florida in the spring of 2024. During the outing, they drank alcohol and passed out, completely losing sight of Langley's two young children. They were found safe but unsupervised, playing at a hotel pool nearby. As seen in body cam footage, the couple were approached by Volusia County law enforcement as they were lying on the sand, with Stevens' arm draped over his girlfriend's back. The officers woke them up and asked them about the children's whereabouts.
Time to wake up! Hey guys! Yep, time to wake up, guys. Hey! Hey! The sheriff's office! Wake up!
Stevens, who wasn't their biological father but had assumed the role of their guardian, stumbled to his feet. When asked where the children were, he appeared to be confused and looked out towards the ocean. As the interaction with law enforcement continued, the man seemed shocked to learn that it was illegal to drink alcohol on the beach. He claimed to have only had 2 beers, but was told that even that quantity was illegal. Stevens looked at Langley, dumbfounded, and asked, "2 is still illegal?" prompting an angry reaction from her, during which she called him a dickhead.
I only had like 2 beers.
2 is still illegal.
2 is still illegal?
Who was so illegal?
No, the fucking cops here are This lady is the only fucking person that's been nice. Him, everybody else has been so now we both go to fucking jail. Who the gonna bond us out?
No one.
Exactly. No, my grandpa has to drive fucking 8 hours to get the goddamn kids.
When officers examined the couple's setup on the beach, they found multiple empty beer cans, an empty bottle of whiskey in a cooler, and other unsealed alcoholic beverages. Stevens took a puff from a vaping device while handcuffed before he and Langley continued to argue. As she stepped into the police vehicle, the woman mouthed, "I'm going to kill you," at her boyfriend. Moments later, even though a cop was watching him closely, Stevens inexplicably decided to make a run for it. He only made it a few steps before he tripped and landed headfirst into the ground, knocking himself out cold. An officer took control of the unconscious suspect and called him stupid before requesting an ambulance. In his booking photo, Stevens bore injuries to the right side of his face, including a black eye and an abrasion near his mouth, which he'd sustained in the fall. The couple were charged with felony child neglect, while Stevens faced additional charges for trying to escape and for possessing alcoholic beverages on the beach. Alyssia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood commented on the case, telling a media outlet, "It just boggles my mind that you would drive here and get obliterated and allow a 5 and a 7-year-old to wander off." Chitwood described the couple as clowns who couldn't even take care of themselves, let alone young children. Family authorities took care of Langley's children until their grandfather arrived from Georgia to take custody of them. Number 8. William Rich and Amber Moore. On December the 4th of 2017, a brawl erupted at the Hog Wild Bar in southern Tarrant County, Texas. Taking part in the altercation were couple William Rich and Amber Moore, aged 26 and 33 respectively. When the police responded to the incident, they found that the fight had spilled into the street and moved about a block away from the bar. Officers went to the intersection of Wrenwood and Briar Rose Lane, where they found Jeffrey Hathcock dead from a knife wound to the chest. Rich was reported to have stabbed him during the skirmish before he and his girlfriend fled the scene. Also involved in the incident was 28-year-old Austin Alvin Hummel, who was later apprehended and charged with tampering with physical evidence. At the time of the arrest, Rich and Moore remained on the run, and authorities urged the public for information, warning them that the couple seemed to have little regard for human life. Rich had prior convictions for misdemeanor assault, evading arrest, criminal trespassing, drug possession, and burglary of a vehicle. Moore's criminal record listed prior convictions for resisting arrest and deadly conduct. A few days after the fatal altercation, the U.S. Marshal Fugitive Task Force located the couple at the Executive Inn on Benbrook Highway in West Fort Worth. They were taken into custody without incident, and he faced a murder charge, while she was expected to be charged with tampering with physical evidence. Number 7. Timothy Davis. On the afternoon of July the 15th of 2023, Danielle White and Walter Parrish were at Kenny's Market in Taneytown, Maryland. While in the checkout line, the couple took selfies and played with Snapchat filters. 38-year-old Timothy Davis, who was in line behind the couple, became enraged as he believed that they were taking photos of him. An argument ensued, and Davis followed White and Parrish when they left the store. The couple recorded the enraged man as he made his way towards them. Davis reached into his waistband, pulled out a pistol, and aimed it at the couple. The armed thug was heard insulting White and ordering her to get into the car before the recording stopped abruptly. White later made a Facebook post about the incident, and it read, "He thought it would be smart to pull a gun out and point it at my head and grab my arm. Real winner." Cops were called. Charges are pressed. The couple emerged from the altercation shaken but unscathed. The day after the incident, Davis was arrested at his Taneytown home and charged with first and second degree assault, disorderly conduct, firearm use, and reckless endangerment. White added in her post, he was released without bond, which is scary. Number 6. James Albert Barfield and Tina Michelle Norris. In the summer of 2012, law enforcement in Hernando County, Florida, were called to a home in Weeki Wachee to resolve a row between 39-year-old Tina Michelle Norris and her boyfriend, 56-year-old James Albert Barfield. The incident was reported to have occurred during a 5-person swingers party. Norris flew into a fit of rage when she saw her boyfriend having intercourse with another woman. Barfield also got angry because Norris was having relations with 2 other men. The couple, who were both in the nude, started savagely attacking each other. They tussled throughout the house, destroying everything in their path. The brawl left Norris with a bloodied lip and Barfield with scratches to his face. Their 3 guests left by the time that the police arrived at the scene to find that the couple was still naked, very intoxicated, and uncooperative. They were both arrested for domestic battery, and Norris faced an additional charge of resisting arrest for refusing to put her clothes back on after being ordered to do so by the officers. Number 5. Germikia, Denise, Freeman, and Charles Nathaniel Webb. A fight between students broke out in the parking lot of the Poinciana Elementary School in Miami, Florida, in April of 2024. Simultaneously, 32-year-old Germikia Denise Freeman went to the school to pick up her sons. The woman was joined by a man named Charles Nathaniel Webb, who was also in his 30s. Their relationship was unclear, but a number of media outlets referred to them as a couple. As she parked her car, Freeman noticed that one of her boys was involved in the altercation. She and Webb rushed towards them and joined in the fight. Freeman grabbed one of the youths by the arm and violently thrust him back and forth until he fell to the ground. Webb was reported to have then grabbed the victim and placed him on the hood of a car. He also punched another boy in the nose area. School officials intervened and ordered the adults to leave the premises, which they resisted at first, but then complied. Freeman and Webb left with the former's children, but they were later arrested. The duo faced charges of child abuse without great bodily harm, trespassing on school grounds after a warning, and disruption of an educational institution. They pleaded not guilty during a subsequent court appearance, and their case was ongoing as of the latest updates on the matter. Number 4. Marshall and Crystal Wallace. On the night of November the 23rd of 2021, Georgia couple, Marshall and Crystal Wallace, stopped at the drive-thru of a McDonald's restaurant in Locust Grove. The couple flew into a fit of rage after asking for a packet of Splenda sugar and being told that they would have to go inside the restaurant to retrieve it. In the moments that followed, Crystal threw a plastic cup at the drive-thru window as Marshall punched the glass, while screaming profanities at the workers inside, telling them, "You want me to get mad?" Marshall then got behind the wheel of his white sedan and drove a few feet before slamming on the brakes. He and his partner jumped out of the vehicle and re-engaged the restaurant's staff. Crystal forced the drive-thru window open, climbed halfway inside, and started tearing away at various items. Her partner went into the restaurant and was recorded picking up a chair and throwing it, allegedly hitting a manager in the leg. The couple fled the scene and were later arrested at a traffic stop in Walton County. Both were charged with criminal trespass and disorderly conduct, with Crystal being additionally charged with simple assault and Marshall with simple battery. Henry County Sheriff Reginald Scandrett subsequently told the media the video clearly shows actions that blatantly violated the law and brought national embarrassment to the people of our great county. This type of behavior will not be tolerated. Number 3. Samantha Christiansen and Derek Gomez. In 2016, Michigan couple Samantha Christiansen and Derek Gomez were at a Walmart in Muskegon when they engaged each other in a silly string fight. The party decoration shootout unfolded over multiple aisles inside the store. As reported by Mason County Sheriff Kim Cole, staff intervened and the couple, both in their mid-20s, agreed to a ceasefire. However, upon being asked to pay for the empty cans of silly string, they opted just to leave rather than pay. Christiansen and Gomez were arrested and charged with third-degree retail fraud, a misdemeanor charge punishable by up to 93 days in prison or a fine of up to $500. In a Facebook post, Christiansen shared multiple links to news outlets covering their arrest in a post which she hashtagged Silly String Matters. The young woman disputed the retail fraud charge and stated an intention of fighting it in court. Christiansen claimed that she and her boyfriend hadn't left without paying, highlighting that they were kicked out and had the cops called on them. Christiansen also quoted Gomez as saying, "I always told my mum one day I would be famous." She jokingly compared their situation to that of Stephen Avery, whose 2007 conviction for killing Wisconsin photographer Teresa Halbach was questioned by the Netflix documentary series Making a Murderer. Christiansen also added a link to a bail bond website which showed a previous mugshot of hers. It was taken in May of 2012 after she was booked for driving while license suspended or revoked and failure to appear in Pasco County, Florida. The photo showed Christiansen with dark hair while smiling and seemingly holding back laughter. One of the woman's Facebook friends described it as the cockiest mugshot ever. The outcome of the silly string incident remained unclear. Today's topic was requested by Dove Master. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 2. Randi Young and Heath Blom. On Christmas Day 2008, a couple from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, were arrested after they fought each other over an unwanted Christmas gift at their South Street home. Randi Young reportedly complained about getting a Wii game system from his girlfriend, 26-year-old Heath Blom, instead of the remote-control airplane for which he'd asked. An argument ensued, during which the 24-year-old man became verbally aggressive and grabbed his girlfriend by the hair as she tried to leave. Blom then turned around and hit him. The authorities were called and the couple were both bruised up when officers arrived and took them into custody on assault charges, and no contact order was put in place. During their January the 12th arraignment, Young asked for the order to be lifted, telling the court, "We just had a bad Christmas," but his request was denied. In March, he and Blom pleaded guilty to violation-level counts of simple assault. The couple were fined $1,000, suspended pending their good behavior for a year, and ordered to undergo anger management evaluations. Blom's lawyer told the court that his client regrets the situation that has brought both parties here. Number 1. Benjamin Ledyard. In December of 2023, former Delaware banking executive Benjamin Ledyard was jailed for 2 years for viciously attacking his third wife, Stephanie. The incident had occurred on New Year's Day at their home in Tallyville and began with an argument over loud music played by Benjamin while he was intoxicated. When Stephanie asked him to turn the volume down, the man reportedly told her, "Tonight, I'm going to definitely give you a good beating." He then picked up a pool cue and started swinging it at her. Stephanie tried to run away, but her husband chased her around the house and struck her in the head with a hardcover book. Benjamin, who stood at 6 feet 6 inches tall and weighed 260 pounds, then pushed the woman to the ground, grabbed her by the hair, and repeatedly slammed her head into the hardwood floor. Among other injuries, Stephanie was left with a gaping wound that exposed her skull. Benjamin didn't alert first responders, even though his wife wandered through the home, bleeding profusely from her head and on the verge of losing consciousness. The woman recorded herself begging Benjamin to call 911, but he told her that she'd fallen and maintained that he hadn't hurt her. Sometime after daybreak, a neighbor saw the woman's injuries and alerted the emergency services. Stephanie was taken to the emergency room at Wilmington Hospital, where she revealed that she'd been abused for months by her husband. Medical staff documented older fractures and other injuries in various stages of healing. During their 15-month marriage, Stephanie had been routinely beaten by Benjamin, most often while he was intoxicated. The woman ended up in the hospital multiple times, but typically covered up the abuse by saying that she'd fallen or suffered some other type of accident. In the summer of 2022, she went to the emergency room with the tip of her pinky finger severed off. She claimed to have caught it in a door frame, but after the New Year's Day attack revealed that Benjamin had actually bitten off the tip of her finger during an argument. The man then reportedly told her, "I think I swallowed it." He was charged with first-degree assault in connection to that incident, and with second-degree assault, terroristic threatening, and menacing after the New Year's Day assault. Benjamin eventually pleaded guilty to second-degree assault in August of 2023, and all the other charges were dropped. He and Stephanie both openly cried in court during the December sentencing and pleaded for the judge to give Benjamin, who was at the time in his mid-50s, only probation. Stephanie said, "Please give us a chance. I forgive him. I believe God forgives him. If I forgive him, why can't anybody else?" The custodial sentence, however, was final, and to it was added 18 months of probation and mandatory substance abuse and mental health treatment. The prosecution released a 10-page sentencing memo which detailed that Benjamin, who blamed his behavior on alcoholism, had abused Stephanie since they got married in 2021, with one attack taking place on their wedding night. At the time, the man hit his wife and caused her to suffer a hematoma. During subsequent attacks over the months that followed, Stephanie was threatened, punched, kicked, pushed to the ground, and thrown against a wall. She suffered countless bruises and fractures of her elbow, ribs, spine, face, and nose. The prosecution would note that images documenting her injuries looked like autopsy photos. In spite of everything, she tried to save the marriage by hiding the abuse, and even in court, defended Benjamin. Stephanie did, however, sometimes record her husband's sickening outbursts. He at one point threatened that he would put her body in a cooler and dump it in the ocean. There was an argument that such displays were an indication of what had actually happened to Benjamin's second wife, Susan. Her body was found floating in Brandywine Creek in northeast Wilmington shortly after daybreak on July the 23rd of 2019. The woman, a 50-year-old English teacher, had succumbed to blunt force trauma and drowning. Benjamin told investigators that he and Susan had gone to an event at the Queen Theatre in downtown Wilmington the night before her body was discovered. The man recounted that he went to bed at around 11 p.m. while Susan was texting with friends. She remained active on her phone until 2:45 a.m. Shortly after 3 a.m., the woman left the home under unknown circumstances. Data from her Fitbit indicated that she was still alive at 7 a.m., although what happened to her between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. remained a mystery. Her battered body was discovered roughly 3 miles downstream from where her car was parked, near the Rising Sun Lane Bridge over the Brandywine River. Benjamin was never named as a suspect in his wife's unsolved murder, which as of 2024 remained the subject of an active investigation. Her family offered a $50,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. Thanks for watching. If you had to choose one, would you rather date someone based on their looks or their bank account? Let us know in the comments section below.